I will set it up right now. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, cool. Okay. And that was cool.
I don't want to move St. Scott's back.
person.
He's right there.
Tim?
Yeah.
Cool.
He does like the inside coaches corner thing. He's a super good dude.
Yeah, Hosley and I and a couple others were talking about getting him involved in the weeks leading up to this. So I'll introduce myself after the match.
He's awesome guy.
Cool.
He's coaching right here at Mandaya, a small school, so.
Oh, cool.
Let's get her done today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Live VLA action from here in Buffalo, New York. Second day in a row. Rematches of all three of yesterday's matches, which were awesome. Starting us off this morning with a rematch of Chicago versus Boston. You can see Boston finishing their warm-up behind me. Chicago won this match 3-0 yesterday in the middle match of the day. It was Boston's first match in VLA history for them. Chicago's second of the day, an impressive 2-0 start to their 2021 season in championship defense. And really my biggest takeaway from that matchup was that these two teams are built kind of similarly. You've got big size, big blockers, high-level experienced players. But the way that they're built, similarly, Chicago's strengths are similar to Boston's strengths, but just that much a little bit stronger, in my opinion, from yesterday. Their service pressure, their serve reception, their block transition defense was just on another level of high-level execution yesterday compared to this upstart VLA Tier 2 squad, who I was really impressed by. So that's definitely something to watch again. You've got Brandon Poindexter, big middle blocker for Chicago, playing against his hometown team, Boston native. You've got Jalen Penrose for Bounce, the big opposite on the right side, an absolute superstar. Played now 4 years, I believe, in A1 Germany. Had a really good day yesterday, but how many more swings is he going to take today? Bounce with a lot of depth. Will they go to the bench? Chicago with almost none. Likely to see the same guys throughout the match, so a lot to follow as we get into this one. We will introduce the starting lineups here in just a minute and get right to the action. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Buffalo Niagara Sports Center for the second day of live VLA action on the weekend. Day full of rematches, this first one featuring the Chicago Icemen and the Boston Bounce. Let's meet the starting lineups. First, from the Boston Bounce, a 6-foot setter from Feeding Hills, Massachusetts, number 12, Colin Ritter. A 6'8" opposite from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 1, Jalen Penrose. A 6'5" outside hitter from Richmond, Rhode Island, number 13, Brad Borsay. A 6'2" outside hitter from Chicopee, Massachusetts, number 17, Jeff Vautrin. A 6'9" middle blocker from Needham, Massachusetts, number 16, Skylar Kaufman. A 6'9" middle blocker from Palos Verdes, California, number 69, Clay Paulin. And a 6-foot libero from Newington, Connecticut, number 7, Jordan Apria. Boston is coached by Bill Villa. And the Chicago Icemen, a 6'5" setter from Louisville, Kentucky, number 25, Chris Cox. A 6'4" opposite from Grayslake, Illinois, number 9, Dan Starkey. A 6'6" outside hitter from New Lenox, Illinois, number 4, Kyle Overby. A 6'6" outside hitter from Galena, Illinois, number 7, Tyler Wills. A 6'9" middle blocker from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 18, Brandon Poindexter. A 6'8" middle blocker from Elk Grove, Illinois, number 22, Scott Sawicki. And a 5'10" libero from Chicago, number 3, Colin Merck. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, live from Buffalo, New York. This is day 2 of VLA action for the 2021 regular season. I'm Rob St. Clair. Thanks so much for joining us here for a day full of rematches. Like we talked about in the preview, Chicago here beating Boston yesterday 3-0 in the Bounce's VLA debut. I was impressed by them, really. This team is built really to compete right away, but they're jumping in the deep end with these two matchups, in particular against the reigning champion Chicago Icemen. Just another level of execution, of block, serving, transition defense, of just execution required to really win at this level. Chicago with an impressive 2-0 day yesterday after a very slow start versus Team LVC. They came back in reverse sweeping fashion to win that match 3-2 before beating Bounce 3-0. Bounce still looking for their first win of their VLA life and see if they can get it here in impressive fashion in a rematch. Chicago on the far side of your screen, white and blue, starting us off serving. This is Jalen Penrose against 3 blockers out of the back row, and he puts it away high off the hands. Excellent start for number 1 in white, Jalen Penrose. 6'8" opposite out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Had a phenomenal collegiate career at Penn State before making the move overseas to Germany, where he's now played for 4 straight seasons in the top German league. This is setter Colin Ritter, who's a big part of this Boston team this weekend. Sawicki, crossbody out of the middle for Chicago, puts it away. And the connection here for Chicago, worth talking about. Chris Cox, number 25 in white, the setter of this match, played a little opposite yesterday. But also Sawicki, who just killed that ball, who goes back to serve. And outside hitter Kyle Overby, very good friends on and off the court, collegiate teammates at Lindenwood University in St. Louis. So these guys have been playing together for years. Good serve from Sawicki. Puts Boston out of system. Vautrin against 3 blockers. Pretty good dig that time from Wills. Starkey high into the hands, and it rattles through the block of Skylar Kaufman and down. Another big part of the Icemen offense, number 9 in white, Dan Starkey. Kind of a utility pin attacker who just hammers away at the ball. This match playing opposite out of Cal State Northridge. Another good rip by Sawicki. Overpass by Vautrin and tapped straight to the floor by Kyle Overby. So a nice start here for Chicago, immediately applying some service pressure, just like I talked about as one of their big strengths. When they're able to get a team like Boston, or really anyone else for that matter, just a little bit out of system, it makes their block and defense operate at that much higher of a level. Sawicki again misses that one to the top tape, but a pretty good trip back to the line to start the match off for Chicago. And this will be number 13 in white for Boston, Brad Borsay, out of Sacred Heart University in the EIVA. Had a nice day yesterday. This guy's a good player. Perfect pass by Tyler Wills. Poindexter, wrist away out of the middle, puts it away off of a diving Jordan Apria. Poindexter worth talking about throughout this match, number 18 in white and blue. A suburban Boston native. He's lived in Chicago for a few years now, but playing against his hometown team here. Knows a lot of the guys on this Bounce team. And I know he's been looking forward to these two matches a lot. Kaufman, crossbody out of the middle, in right on the sideline. And really nice spacing that time generated by Colin Ritter. Number 12, the setter for Boston out of Wentworth. And Kaufman there, the big middle blocker out of MIT. Pretty much jumping sideways to create some separation between himself and the block. Rotation 1 receive here for Chicago off the Kaufman serve. I like Overby on the right side in this rotation. Doesn't matter though, as Kaufman misses that one short. Kyle Overby now to serve, number 4 in white and blue. Out of Lindenwood, like I said, had a phenomenal day yesterday. Had a huge service run against LVC that really turned that match around and hit incredibly efficiently. In addition to playing some really good defense, just doing everything well this weekend. Nice serve there, working on the seam. This is Paul, and out of the middle, pretty good block touch from Poindexter. Transition opportunity here. Wills rolls it over the top, dug by Borsay. Penrose off speed, and the deflection just knocks that ball out of the reach of Dan Starkey on the Chicago side. And a nice off-speed offensive choice for the superstar opposite Jalen Penrose, who goes back to serve here. Obviously a huge part of this Boston team. These are more matches in a weekend than he's used to playing in Germany. What a pass by Colin Merck, and crushed to the floor there by Poindexter. That is a server, Penrose that is, that Chicago wants to get off the line as fast as possible. And Colin Merck, number 3 in blue, in my opinion, the best libero in the gym this weekend, is the perfect guy to receive that bullet. Good touch by Vautrin. Poindexter runs it down. Overby with a good second touch. Cox sends over a free ball. Big attack to Borsay. Crushed wrist away inside the right sideline. Beautiful piece of offense that time, and a pretty good hustle play from Chicago. Not quite good enough to keep that alive. I love watching teams at this high of a level run that quick, big attack. The outside hitter flying in out of the middle back part of the court, jumping from behind that 3-meter line. It's just so much fun to watch that. Good rip by the captain, Jeff Vautrin, but an even better pass. Sawicki, wrist away. Couldn't be handled by libero Jordan Apria. And if Boston wants to win this match, or if they want to put at least a little bit of pressure on Chicago, they're going to have to find a way to take them out of system. That did not happen yesterday and hasn't happened yet so far. Chicago's such a good passing team. Passed right on the net, wiped into the block by Ritter. Chance opportunity here for Overby out of the back row for Chicago, and he puts it away cross-body. There's the Bick again, this time from Chicago, and it'll be interesting to see how much these two teams use that piece of the offense. Starkey here with the serve, a very dangerous server, bringing a lot of heat. 8-5 Chicago here early on. Good serve right into his seam. This will be Penrose way out of system, high into the hands of Sawicki, and he's rejected. Good disciplined block by number 22 in white and blue. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with Chicago. Serving tough enough not to necessarily score aces all the time, which they certainly will, but to put Boston out of system, make the offense predictable, and make good blocking moves. Starkey again here. Clips the tape, pretty much takes Borsay out of the offense. Paulin out of the middle is covered off the block. And Chris Cox, the setter on the overpass, puts it away with the arm swing. We saw him play some opposite yesterday and was actually very impressive in that role. But now giving Captain Tim Faulkner a break, Cox playing the setter position at good size at about 6'5", and not afraid to take a rip at that ball in the overpass. Starkey continuing to serve really well. Working on Vautrin that time in position 1. This will be Penrose way out of system against 3 blockers. Pretty good touch by Wills, but deflects out of the reach of Starkey and Overby, and a big bailout swing that time by Jalen Penrose for Boston. Clay Paulin here, big middle blocker, 6'9" out of UCLA. Moved to Boston, the Boston area in the last couple years, and has gotten involved in the volleyball scene. Float serve clips the tape. This is Wills through a big seam in the block and down cross court. And that is a great matchup for Chicago. Colin Ritter, as good of a setter as he is, definitely loses the individual size battle as a blocker versus both Icemen outside attackers. Wills and Overby both at about 6'6". Back to where we started rotation-wise. Tyler Wills here, number 7, the outside hitter after that kill. Forces some of the Boston guys to play some dodgeball in order to let that one go out of bounds. 7-11 here with Ritter, the Boston setter back at the line. A pretty good little hybrid. Has some options with this. He can float it or topspin it. Goes with the float that time, working on Wills, and it confuses him, and it's an ace. Nice little knuckling action that time by number 12 in white, Colin Ritter, on the hybrid float serve. Just that nasty knuckling action. Got outside of Tyler Wills' platform at the last second. At a big point on serve there for Boston, 8-11 now. Ace serve down the line, that's 2 in a row. Couldn't be more of a different serve than the previous one, but just as effective. That one hit a lot harder in more of a jump serve fashion, wrist away, right down the sideline, beautifully located by Ritter. And 3 points in a row here for Boston. Which one will we do this time? Same spot, working on Overby. Pass well off the net. This will be Overby against 3 big blockers. Into the block of Penrose and kept alive. Starkey, good block touch that time by Borsay. Transition opportunity here. Penrose with a brilliant swing high off the fingertips. And deflects way out of the reach of any Chicago defender. And a really nice run here from Boston. Penrose that time, touching as high as he does, but against a big Chicago block, had absolutely no intention of hitting the ball into the court. All he wanted is to catch the high part of the block and deflect that deep away from the Chicago defenders. That's a really high-level swing. Going with the float that time, clips the tape, pretty much takes Overby out of the offense, and the center dump attempt by Chris Cox just out of bounds. So a big run for Boston Bounce to completely close this gap, and all of a sudden we're tied up at 11. 5 in a row. Where does Cox go here in rotation 5? Jump spinner that time. Passed right on the net by Overby. Good offensive play by Cox, but a transition opportunity here for Boston. Borsay with the roll shot, and he puts it away. Boston continues the run, and they take the lead, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a timeout here from Chicago, and yes, we will. Captain Tim Faulkner wants to talk over this run. What a push by Boston Bounce in this rotation. Coming out hot here this morning, first thing in the morning on the East Coast. A lot more volleyball coming your way here in the first match of the weekend, or first match of the day, excuse me. Stay tuned after the timeout. I want to thank everyone for joining us live this morning on the VLA YouTube channel. I'm Rob St. Clair once again. Get active in the YouTube live chat. I'm looking at it. I can see your comments. Let me know who you're rooting for. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're not already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the big red subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Make sure you don't miss any of the great content we have coming out this weekend and all season long. Let's see if this timeout is enough to slow down the serving of Colin Ritter. What Chicago's going to do to get out of this rotation after a 6-0 run. 12-11 Boston. Working on Overby again. Another tough pass. This will be Overby against 2 big blockers out of system, and he's rejected by Penrose. What an absolutely perfectly engineered run here by Boston. The aces certainly helped from Ritter early in the run, but just taking Chicago out of system, like I was saying earlier, was something that Boston was unable to do yesterday. And working excellently for him right now to key this run, scoring points on serve. 13-11 now, going after it again is Ritter, but just misses it wide. Chicago finally out of a tough rotation. Chicago trails by 1 here in set number 1. We play best 3 out of 5 sets to 25 points. You must win by 2, of course. This is Scott Sawicki from the service line. That one, not even close. Not perfect hand contact that time. And this Mikasa volleyball, the new V200W, maybe not as extremely as the previous Mikasa, the blue and yellow spirally one, but definitely penalizes hitters and servers for imperfect hand contact. Good rip that time by Borsay. Perfect pass by Wills. Poindexter out of the middle is dug by Ritter. Vautrin in transition. Stabbed at by Starkey. But the second touch can't be made by Chicago. And a transition put away that time by number 17 in white, Jeff Vautrin. The Boston captain, who's now the head coach at his alma mater, LaSalle University near Boston at only age 26. Talked to Jeff on my podcast, The Deep Corner, a couple weeks ago. He's been really excited to get back out on the court as a player after his day job, obviously. His most common volleyball exposure is in the coaching role. This dude can play, make no mistake. 13-15 Chicago trails. Chris Cox serving here, handled by Jordan Apria. Penrose on the right side, down the line. Did he get to the sideline? No, not quite. That's a really good blocking move there by Kyle Overby on the left side for Chicago. Taking up the exact amount of space he's supposed to, leaving a little bit of line for Penrose to hit at. That's Colin Merck's job, the libero, to dig that ball. And he knows, based on his positioning, that any ball to his left is out of bounds. A serve, Chris Cox, perfectly located right in the seam between Vautrin and Apria. With some pace as well, and Chicago has leveled this thing up at 15. This time right on Apria's platform. Penrose on the right side again, high into the hands of Overby and out of play. I can watch Jalen Penrose hit the ball all day long, man. Just so much fun to watch. 6'8", phenomenal athlete, jumps high, contacts the ball at the top of his possible reach, and has really good vision. This is Overby on the right side here in rotation one, down the line and just barely long. I think that's the right call. Overby just missed tagging the end line. Nice setup there from Boston, taking away Overby's cross court, forcing him to try and pull the ball down and hit that shot. 17-15 Boston here. Passed well off the net by Colin Merck. This is Starkey on the outside, and a nice off-speed shot off the outside hand of Penrose, not a play. Starkey not exactly an off-speed guy. I would typically describe him as having one speed and one speed only, and that speed's pretty effective for him, but a nice little change-up shot that time, taking advantage of Penrose's less disciplined outside hand. Overby serving here, had a couple huge runs from this position yesterday. This is Vautrin against two big blockers, cross-court dug by Merck. Starkey misses it out of bounds in transition, didn't quite get enough footwork to put a real swing on that ball. And a missed opportunity there for Chicago off a pretty good defensive play. The Boston lead back up to 2. Big serve coming here from Penrose. Hammer kept alive by Merck, but not an ideal pass. But what a shot from Tyler Wills. That was brilliant. Really got his team out of a tough offensive situation and achieves the side out. Number 7 in white and blue, Tyler Wills. 27-year-old outside hitter out of Clark University in the NAIA, a 4-time All-American at that level, and a phenomenal outdoor player. Has such tremendous ball control. As Clay Paulin registers the kill out of the middle that time from Boston. Their lead back up to 2. Good rip by Vautrin, handled really well by Colin Merck. Sawicki tipped out of the middle. Transition opportunity for Borsay here, and he's rejected by Sawicki. Great move by number 22 in blue and white, and the Icemen block very physical at all positions. Really their shortest blocker at any point in the front row is Dan Starkey at 6'4", and he is an outstanding blocker. A lot of size for these Boston attackers to deal with. Here's Starkey from the service line, a big moment here. Good serve working on Vautrin, position 1, brilliant pass, Borsay on the left, good block touch from Cox. All the way across the court to Wills on the outside. Paulin out of the middle. What a stab by Overby. Wills wins the joust on the tight ball, and we're tied up at 19. Tyler Wills throwing it down through the block of Clay Paulin. Excellent block touch and defensive play earlier in that rally. Chris Cox to Dan Starkey. And Kyle Overby with what I believe was a one-handed stab in middle back that time kept this play alive. And we're tied once again. Clips the tape, handled by Apria. Borsay high over the top of the block, and that is absolutely unstoppable. What a swing for number 13 in white and purple. High, deep cross court over the blockers where absolutely no defender is set up to be. Excellent high-level swing that time, and Boston retakes a narrow lead. Pollin's float serve drifts long. A little bit of indecision there from Chicago, but the right move to let it go. Who is going to get separation to get 2 points clear and win this set? We could be on a collision course for extra points here. Barely out of bounds that time down the line on the jump serve of Tyler Wills. And as you'll remember, this was the run. Icemen with a hot start, but Bounce came roaring back to tie it and eventually take the lead in this rotation right here on the serve of Colin Ritter. Huge moment. Down the line, working on Overby again. This is Starkey out of the back row, down the line, dug by Apria, but overpassed. Penrose wins the joust, but Overby keeps it alive. He'll have a swing and transition here. And another opportunity now for Boston. Penrose high into the hands, and it deflects out of bounds. Another point on serve for the Boston Bounce in this rotation in particular. Ritter doing a great job working on the front row outside hitter Kyle Overby for Chicago, making their offense just a little bit uncomfortable. Now 22-20. Low toss that time from Ritter, and he's unable to rescue it and send it over the tape. So Chicago sides out the easy way, but not before letting Boston grab one on serve. Sawicki and the Icemen here need to get one back. Poindexter back to the front row. Good rip by Sawicki, but an even better pass by Apria. But the connection there between Ritter and Skylar Kaufman not there. Middle attack missed short into the net, and we are tied at 22. Sawicki looking to break the tie, and he does with an ace serve. Perfectly located right in the seam between Apria and Vautrin, and Chicago with their first lead since about 11-10 perhaps. And a timeout here coming from Boston Bounce with the momentum swinging in Chicago's favor. Boston trying to take their first set of the weekend, not to mention their first match. Cannot let this opportunity slip away. 23-22 Chicago. We will see what happens here for the conclusion of set one out of the timeout. Let's see what Boston coach Bill Villa has to say to his team in this timeout. How are they going to flip the momentum back into their favor on the Boston Bounce side? And is that timeout enough to cool down the Iceman Scott Sawicki from the service line? 23-22 here. Big serve coming. It's a good one, but really well handled by Apria. This is Borsay on the left side. Right side, excuse me. High into the hands of Overby and out of play. Great timeout there from Boston to level this match back up at 23 for the set. And remember, you must win by 2. We could be headed for extra points well past 25. Rotation 6 receive here for Chicago off the Borsay serve. Passed right into, or served right into the seam. Overby out of system against no blockers, dug by Borsay. Vautrin for the lead. Sharp cross court, dug by Overby into the ceiling, run down by Merck. Tipped across by Overby. Boston's gotta have this. Penrose, and they don't. Brandon Poindexter with the stuff block. Against the son of his high school coach, Brandon Poindexter, the Boston native, comes across and stuff blocks his longtime friend Jalen Penrose to bring up Chicago's set point. What a turnaround. Chris Cox serving for the set. Handled well by Apria. Kaufman, cross body. And I think he missed it out of bounds. Just wide of the sideline, and Chicago escapes. Very similar to the first set of this matchup yesterday when Boston had a pretty good, comfortable lead. Well, I don't know about comfortable, but they had a great chance to win the set. Chicago comes back and steals it. And by the same score of the set that I'm talking about, 25-23, Chicago is on the board. What a set of volleyball that was first thing in the morning. So much more coming. A lot more to play. Stay tuned for set number 2. We'll be right back. After that impressive comeback from down, I believe 22-20, Chicago going on a 5-1 run to win set number 1, 25-23. Set number 2 about to get underway with Boston serving on the far side of your screen, starting off in their best service rotation with Ritter on the service line. Chicago choosing to start receiving in rotation 4 to change up that matchup a little bit. See if Ritter continues to target the front row outside hitter, in this case Tyler Wills. No, this time Overby in middle back. Good set by Cox to Starkey on the right side, over the top. Did he get the fingertips? No, not quite. Clearly out of bounds. Going for the fingertips that time was Starkey, and he just missed him, so Boston on the board first. Ritter with the floater that time. Pretty good pass by Wills. Sawicki into the block. No, not into the block. No touch. That was all tape. No arms. So 4 contacts is called against Chicago. And Boston with another point in this service rotation. I love this hybrid serve of Colin Ritter here. He tosses it the same way every time and chooses at the last second whether to hit it with topspin or to kind of hit underneath the ball and generate the float. Kind of like that. The Icemen passers have no idea what's coming. Center dump there is blocked and can't quite be kept alive on the Chicago side. A really nice read that time by, I believe, Skylar Kaufman. Yeah, it was. A big middle blocker out of MIT for Boston. quick 3-0 start here for Boston in set 2 after definitely letting set number 1 slip away. Perfect pass by Merck. That's set too far outside the antenna for Tyler Wills to handle, and 4 contacts called once again on the Chicago side. So side-out offense not operating perfectly here so far for Chicago early on set number 2. 4-0. Quick start here for the Boston Bounce. Another good pass by Merck. Wills again. High off the fingertips, dug by Vautrin. Transition opportunity, Borsay. Excellent block touch from Cox. High back on the Boston side. Vautrin out of the pipe. What a dig by Starkey. Oh, excellent bump set by Chris Cox. Diving play made by Jordan Apria. Vautrin runs it down. Free ball here for Chicago. Where does Cox go? Sawicki. Good block touch again, this time by Kaufman. Penrose, great block touch by Wills. Great rally developing here. Sawicki, tip to the floor out of the middle. Left-handed, I believe, and Chicago wins the crazy rally. Some great defense played there. Chicago on the board now, 1 serving 4. Ace serve, Tyler Wills down the line. What a rip that was. Beautiful wrist away execution on that jump spinner. Goes to that same spot again, does Wills, but misses it short into the net that time. Thanks for letting us know the scoreboard was flipped backwards. Getting that fixed. Borsay here to serve for Boston, leading 6-2. Working on Overby down the line. Passed a little bit tight. Did Penrose reach over and touch that ball? I'm actually not even sure he made contact with it. Cox asking about potentially a reaching over the net violation, but I agree with the no call. Boston continuing to roll here in set number 2. 7 serving 2 now. Perfect pass by Overby. Sawicki on the back one into the block, and Kaufman is covered. Big swing here for Overby. Sharp cross court, dug by Apria. Penrose absolutely destroyed sharp cross court. What a swing by number 1 in white and purple. An excellent defense that time by libero number 7 in purple, Jordan Apria, to set that up. That was a heck of a rip by Overby that he dug and made it look pretty easy. Boston continuing to roll here, 8-2. Perfect pass by Merck. Oh, that ball slips right through the hands of Chris Cox. Very uncharacteristic. Definitely going to replace that ball with the less slippery one. But a missed opportunity off a perfect pass, and Chicago definitely needs a timeout here. Trailing 9-2 in set number 2, and Boston with all the momentum in the world. We'll be right back. Can Boston keep it up? Can they keep their foot on the gas and get on the board in the set column on the weekend? Stay tuned to find out. out of the timeout. A commanding lead for Boston. Can they keep their foot on the gas? Brad Borsay with the serve. Rotation 5 receive here for Chicago. Perfect pass by Merck. Overby into the block, covered by the kind of elbow of Sawicki, I believe. Another swing by Overby, high into the hands of Penrose, and he's rejected. Nobody there to cover the very deep center part of the court on the Chicago side, and Boston continues to roll. Really impressive turnaround from the Boston bounce after definitely letting set number 1 slip away. It would be easy for them to kind of be dejected about that, but coming out with a lot of fire here in set number 2. Starkey on the right side, really high into the hands. And Borsay can't run it down, just what the doctor ordered for Chicago. Like to see Starkey heat up a little bit out of that back row spot. And a server here, Scott Sawicki, that can definitely turn this around for Chicago. We'll see if he can put the pressure on. 3 serving 10. Going to position 1 that time is Sawicki, but misses it out of bounds. Let's see if the Chicago side-out offense can start to click against the serve of Skylar Kaufman. Good pass by Overby. Poindexter into the block is covered. Overpass and transition opportunity here. Vautrin for Boston, tipped into the antenna. No touch off the block. So out of bounds off of Boston, and a missed opportunity there in transition defense sends Chris Cox back to the line for the Icemen. Good serve by Cox, but an even better pass. Ritter right on the net. One-handed set to Paulin in the middle, and he's rejected by Brandon Poindexter. Pretty much nowhere for Ritter to go that time other than middle. Poindexter read it every step of the way. I agree with Peter Dabrowski on the sideline. Poindexter that time doing a good job of being patient. Not making any unnecessary reads. Just reacting smartly to the situation. Here's Cox again. Working down the line. Good serve. Even better pass by Vautrin. He gets this ball one-on-one on the outside and misses it out of bounds cross court. That was an outstanding blocking move by Dan Starkey. Showed Vautrin that he had a little bit of cross court angle and then dove back in to take more of it away. That is about as much space as you could possibly take up as just one blocker. Great move that time by number 9 in white and blue. Chicago continues in this rotation. Penrose on the right side, rolls it down the line, dug by Merck. Starkey here, did he get the touch? I don't think so. Starkey not quite able to catch up to that ball, get his feet underneath it. Had to kind of hit it upwards and pray that he gets a piece of the fingers. No touch detected by our line judge at that time. That sends Penrose back to the line. Obviously a very dangerous server, but working all the way across the court to Overby in position 1, misses it out of bounds. So Chicago back within 5, 7 serving 12. Obviously a lot of volleyball to play, and Chicago, of all teams in this gym, capable of making runs, especially in this rotation. Wrist away look from Overby, trying to go at Vautrin in position 5, but he misses it out of bounds as well. So the team's sort of trading service errors. And see if Vautrin can force Chicago to earn one of their side outs. Great pass by Overby. Starkey on the right side. Nice wrist away action down the line off the block of Borsay and out of bounds. Excellent delivery from Cox as well. When this Chicago offense is as in system as they were on that play there, they are pretty much unstoppable. As is true of most teams at this high of a level. Paulin out of the middle, the connection not quite there, but a diving Poindexter can't quite make the play on the tip shot. That is a big man falling to the floor. Scott Sawicki maybe looking at his ankle after landing after that block attempt. Clay Paulin from the service line here. Got a pretty good float serve, working on Overby, perfect pass. Starkey again on the right side, through the block and down on the Boston side. Dan Starkey really heating up, doing a lot of things well. Making some really good block moves. And Cox starting to really depend on him offensively. Let's see what he's got here from the service line. Definitely one of those players that can generate his own momentum in other areas of the game from the way that he serves. And that's definitely not his best effort there as he misses it well wide. Oh, good play by Cox dealing with that tight pass, but a transition opportunity here. Penrose into the block is covered. Kaufman crossbody. What a dig by Starkey. Wills with the reach, tips it over, handled by Borsay. This is Penrose again. Sharp cross court, and he puts it away. Excellent transition footwork that time by Jalen Penrose. And if your opposite in transition can work that hard, get a 2 or even a 3-step approach and hit that kind of an angle, then you've got a serious weapon. 16-9. The Boston Bounce lead swells back to 7 with a good service rotation here with Colin Ritter. Wills cross court, dug by Apria. Vautrin out of the back row, misses it out of bounds. Boston playing a lot better defense this match than I think that they played all of yesterday. Just in terms of number of digs and the number of digs that are able to be transitioned into offense, even with the missed opportunity that time by Vautrin. Good serve by Wills, perfect pass. Kaufman crushed to the floor on the 31. Skylar Kaufman's approach paths are really interesting to me. He's jumping, it seems to me like he's jumping sideways a lot of the time. And at 6'9", he doesn't necessarily have to get up all that high. As long as he can create space around the blockers, he'll be pretty unstoppable. And I like the creativity there and the communication with him and Ritter. Great pass by Merck again. Similar shot there. Sawicki out of the middle for Chicago, crossbody right on the sideline. (17-11) the Boston lead. Chicago's starting to run out of time. Let's see what Sawicki's got. Great serve, well out of system. Vautrin here against 3 blockers, rolled down the line, dug by Starkey. Overby way inside, over the tape and down. And the service pressure from Sawicki doesn't score an ace, but it definitely results in a Chicago point. That all started from the service pressure. Sawicki again. Let's see if he can keep the pressure on. Not quite, sprayed out of bounds wide that time. And definitely a nice break for Boston to get a pretty dangerous server off the line. And now a service substitute comes in here for the Bounce. Number 23 in white and purple, Alex Raskind. 6'2", backup setter opposite, has a really good left-handed jump serve out of the University of Michigan. Good one there, handled well by Wills. Overby on the left side, pretty good block touch by Penrose, stabbed at by Vautrin. He gets a chance here in transition, dug by Wills in middle back. Starkey out of the back row, and he puts it away out of the reach of a diving Borsay. So the service sub will be undone here on the Bounce side. And side out achieved for Chicago, but still trailing by 5, 13-18. Need to string together a run here to make a similar comeback to what they did in set 1. Good serve by Cox, passed into the ceiling, run down by Vautrin. Penrose can have a swing at this, but tipped into the block of Overby, and he is rejected. That strong left outside hand by number 4 in white and blue. Not allowing himself to get tooled by that power tip of Jalen Penrose. And there's a point on serve like I'm talking about that Chicago needs. Cox trying to go down the line but misses it wide. The 2 rotations in a row there for Chicago that they've gotten 1 point on serve. If they can keep up that pace, they might be able to do this thing. But not if Jalen Penrose has anything to say about it. Fortunately, a service error that time. Boston again looking for their first match win of their VLA careers. Looking for their first set win of their VLA careers. Icemen not going to give it to him for free. Here's Overby. Clips the tape, handled decently by Borsay. This is Vautrin, high into the hands of Poindexter, and well watched by Apria as it drifts just out of bounds on the Boston side. Nice swing there by number 17 in white and purple, not intimidated by the massive block of Brendan Poindexter. With Dan Starkey there as well, just ripping away high into the hands. Vautrin back to serve after that kill. Heater right on Colin Merck, but overpassed and tapped to the floor by Brad Borsay. Big insurance point there for Boston. The lead back up to 6, 21-15. Again, Boston deserving a ton of credit for the way that they have come out and played here in set number 2. After what happened in set 1, they had a great chance, let it slip away. The Icemen made a great comeback. Boston choosing to come out with a lot of fire. What a dig by Apria down the line. Free ball opportunity here. Starkey on the right side, cross court, another dig, this time by Penrose. Starkey a third time. Good block touch and another dig by Apria. Penrose out of the back row, cross court, dug by Cox into the ceiling. And a weird deflection can't be run down by Chicago. What defense by the Boston Bounce. 3 digs in a row. 2 by Apria, 1 by Penrose. Starkey bringing the heat, but just can't quite put it away. And now a 7-point lead here for the Bounce. 22-15 on the verge of their first set win of the weekend. Great pass by Merck. Poindexter off a good block touch by Paulin. Another transition opportunity here for Boston. Borsay down the line into the antenna. So a hitting error gives the Icemen a little breath of life. Poindexter serving 16-22. Not over yet. Paulin into the block of Sawicki is covered. Borsay tight onto the net. On 2 by Wills, and he hits it just out of bounds. Like that choice to swing, I think that's, not a bad hitting error at all in my opinion. Just a little bit long. Crazy scramble play there. Good block by Sawicki to set it up. But a good scramble by Boston to get a swing out of it. Paulin here serving 23-16. Sawicki again. On the 31, off the fingertips of Kaufman, not a play. Really nice delivery from Chris Cox, and I talked about that connection between Cox and Overby and Cox and Sawicki. All 3 former collegiate teammates at Lindenwood. These guys have been playing together for a long time. Starkey with the service error short into the tape, and that's going to bring up set point. 24-17, 7 opportunities here for the Boston Bounce to get on the board, and it will be Colin Ritter. Statistically, Boston's best server, at the very least, in this match against Chicago's rotation 4. Dumped over by Cox. This is Borsay for the set, and he puts it away over the block and right on the end line, and that's it. Boston with an impressive comeback here in set number 2 after dropping a pretty good look in set 1. 25-17, the set 2 score, and we are tied up at 1 apiece, going at least 4 here in the first match Sunday morning. We will be right back with a lot more VLA action. Stay tuned. Set number 3 coming your way, live from Buffalo. I'm Rob St. Clair. Thanks for joining us live here on the VLA YouTube channel. Tied up at a set apiece. Boston starting to play some really good volleyball. Really increased their level of serving and defense compared to yesterday. And a convincing 25-17 win there in set number 2 to get on the board. Who will break the tie here in this crucial third set? Tyler Wills starting off for Chicago on the far side of your screen. Tight pass by Borsay, run down by Wilson, back row off the setter, dump attempt. Starkey on the right side, and he's rejected. Brad Borsay with a great move. And Kaufman there as well. And a decent looking transition by Chicago, shut down by the Boston block. Sending Boston's best server, Colin Ritter, back to the line. Perfect pass by Merck. Sawicki absolutely bombs away cross-body. Just beautiful to watch. Both of these offenses operate when perfectly in system inside out. Excellent spacing created that time by Sawicki coming from the right sideline, his right sideline. Keeping his momentum, hammering that ball cross-body. He goes back to serve here. Clips the tape, handled by Apria. Ritter to Borsay on the right side, into the block of Overby. Tried to scoop it up and keep it alive, but it falls on the Chicago side. Nice off-speed choice that time by number 13 in purple. Brad Borsay, again out of Sacred Heart, who I've been really impressed with this weekend. 2-1 Boston. Just out of bounds, trying to work down the line on Overby. I think that's been a point of emphasis for Boston, really being intentional about who they're targeting on their serves, whether it's Ritter with the hybrid, Borsay with the slightly more conservative Jeff Spinner. They're really doing a good job of picking targets. Vautrin on the left, sharp cross court, and misses it out of bounds. Again, a pretty good block move one-on-one by Dan Starkey to take up a surprising amount of space, forcing Vautrin to slice off sharper of an angle than he can handle. 3-2 Chicago, they take a narrow lead. That one missed well out of bounds by Chris Cox that time. Again, if you're watching, let me know in the chat who you're rooting for, where you're watching from. Give me the emoji of your respective team. You got the bounce, the frog emoji, which I love, or the Icemen, like blue shivering classic. So let me know who you're rooting for. Pass here by Overby in rotation 1. Starkey on the left side. And he's rejected by the absolutely gigantic double block of Paulin and Penrose. What a brick wall that is. Penrose, an incredible specimen at 6'8", and Paulin just kind of dwarfs him standing next to him. It's crazy. Another big guy, Kaufman here, the server. Perfect pass by Overby. Poindexter, great block touch by Paulin. And back on the Chicago side, couldn't be covered. 2 blocks in a row for number 69 in purple. Clay Paulin out of UCLA. Boston up 5-3 now. A lot of teams typically struggle to get out of rotation 1, but Chicago is not one of them. Starkey has played a lot of outside hitter in his career, comfortable hitting on the left, as is Overby on the right. Poindexter into the block, covered on the Chicago side. Merkel platform set this ball. Sharp cross court by Overby, missed it out of bounds. That would have been a pretty ridiculous angle. The bounce block doing a good job taking up space. Missed wide by about 6 feet, and the run continues. The serve of Kaufman, nothing particularly intimidating, but just putting the ball in, giving the bounce block a chance to work. 6-3 Boston. Good hand pass there by Overby. Starkey on the left side is absolutely clamped by Penrose. One-on-one. Denting the floorboards. Jalen Penrose with the massive brick wall. And this might have to be a timeout for Chicago here early in set number 3. It will not. They'll continue to try and get out of rotation 1 here against the service Skylar Kaufman. 7-3 Boston. Just out of bounds. In between the Icemen passers and Long. Let's see what Overby can do to narrow this gap. Very dangerous jump serve. Working on Borsay. Pass tight right on the net. One-handed set. Oh, missed opportunity there for Penrose on the overpass. Starkey on the right side for Chicago. Thrown into the block and covered. Starkey again a little bit tight. Thrown into the block. Covered by Poindexter. Starkey a third time. Did he get the touch? No, I don't think so. Quite a few of those sets that time by Chris Cox to Starkey, especially the first two, a little bit too tight for Starkey to take a real swing at. Did a good job to reset him off the block, but couldn't terminate the third one. Good serve there from Penrose, forces the overpass. Penrose out of the back row, down the line, misses it out of bounds. A huge missed opportunity there. What could have been a 5-point lead instead is 3. There's a little bit too much wrist away side spin by Penrose on the right side that time since Poindexter, his longtime friend, back to the line. Paulin, wrist away straight to the floor out of the 31. Nice spacing there by the Boston offensive with no libero on the floor for Chicago in that defensive rotation. Nothing they can do to stop that. 9-5, Boston captain Jeff Vautrin looking to unleash here from the service line. Good rip by Vautrin, handled really well by Overby. This is Wills on the left side over the top of the block, dug by Vautrin. Borsay, what a dig by Overby, who will get a swing at this and puts it away, wrist away. That is an absolutely world-class play by Kyle Overby. That is, wow. What a dig that was, and then to get up and take a legitimate swing at that out of the back row. A phenomenal piece of volleyball for number 4 in white and blue, just when his team really needed it. 6 serving 9 now, Dan Starkey. Good pass by Borsay. This is Vautrin out of the pipe, tipped and handled by Merck. Big transition opportunity here. Wills on the left side, high into the hands. Good positioning by Vautrin defensively. Penrose misses it short into the net. That ball maybe a little faster than what we was expecting. And the run by Chicago continues. You can start to feel the momentum chilling towards the Icemen. Starkey, a very good server. One of the perfect guys for Chicago to keep this run alive at the service line. Rotation 5 receive here for Boston. Of course, the commentator's curse. Starkey misses that serve short. Now 10-7 Boston. Can they continue this really high level of play that we've been seeing? Perfect pass by Wills. He gets this ball on the left side. Cross court dug by Paul in the middle blocker, but not controlled well enough and out of bounds long on the Chicago side. Good swing there by Tyler Wills and some good range. He goes back to serve. Chicago trailing by 2. Nice move by Apria, passing a little bit tight. Offensive attempt that time by Ritter. Overby can have a swing at it, dug by Vautrin. Borsay high into the hands. Starkey runs it down. He's out of the offense. This is Overby again. Covered by Merck off the block. Overby a third time, dug by Apria. Vautrin out of the back row, somehow through the block, deflects off of Sawicki and out of play. Nice transition offense there from Boston and some inspired defense again by both teams. Which one of the hybrid options will Ritter go with here? It's the floater down the line at Overby. Pass a little off the net. He'll get this ball against 2 blockers. Tipped over the top. And a beautiful off-speed choice. Just over the outstretched fingertips of Jalen Penrose. And harmlessly to the floor on the Boston side. 9 serving 11. Middle blocker Sawicki. A pretty dangerous server for Chicago. Dangerous to his own team as well, I suppose, with that service error a little bit out of bounds. Interesting in this matchup because yesterday the biggest storyline or the biggest key was how was Boston going to score points on serve. Now that script has been flipped. Lately, Chicago have been largely unable to do just that. Boston siding out at a remarkable efficiency, and what a block that time. Was that ball up off the foot? Was that a premature whistle? I'm not sure. Chicago arguing that that block was actually covered by, I believe, the foot of Colin Merck. But the whistle was blown as if that block by Penrose and Kaufman had hit the floor. I'm going to talk to the line judges about this. The best case scenario for Chicago is a replay. Let's see, what's going to be the call? The call is replay. So a big break for Chicago. A pretty miraculous foot cover and a premature whistle. So no point awarded there. Still 12-9 off the serve of Brad Borsay. Passed well off the net this time. This is Starkey way out of system. High into the hands of Kaufman. Big transition opportunity here for Boston. Kaufman tipped over the block of Poindexter. And the pancake play can't be made by Overby in the off blocker position. So Boston does take that point after all. On the transition kill by Skylar Kaufman off speed. 13-9 now. Good pass by Wills. Poindexter. What a dig by Apri off the chest. Sent back over by Borsay. Starkey down the line, misses it out of bounds. What a dig by Jordan Apri. That was ridiculous. Just absorbs the bullet of the Poindexter attack and pops it up somehow off the chest in such a way that Ritter and Borsay could run it down. And eventually a hitting error by Chicago gives a pretty miraculous point to Boston. What a play that was. Good pass by Wills. Right on the net and thrown to the floor. The big offensive setter, Chris Cox, on two. Taking the offense into his own hands. (14-10) Boston. Chicago really being pushed to their limits here. Oh, a good looking serve down the line, but missed just barely out of bounds by Chris Cox. Chicago's serving level definitely not where it was yesterday so far today. Still early and difficult to rely on just sensational serving all the time, but the Boston side out percentage today much higher than yesterday. Alex Raskin out of Michigan again comes into as a service specialist, the left-handed jump server. Good hooking jump serve working on Wills. Pretty good pass. This is Overby on the right side. What a diving play by Borsay. Ritter unfortunately can't quite run it down by the Boston bench. And Chicago sides out of rotation one, the first time of asking now 11-15. As the service sub is undone on the Boston side. Let's see if Overby can be a spark plug from the service line here. No, not quite. And again, just Chicago's number of service errors and just general serving level top to bottom is not at the level it was yesterday, and Boston much more comfortable for a variety of reasons, but the lack of Chicago service pressure definitely one of them. Good rip that time by Penrose, but an even better pass by Merck. Wills accelerates, gets his feet to the inside, and puts that one away through a seam. Nice adjustment there by number 7 in white and blue. Poindexter here, the big middle blocker, putting in the float serve. Handled pretty easily by Borsay. Vautrin on the left side into the block of Starkey and just barely out of bounds on the Boston side. 17-12 the score. Vautrin, the Boston captain, with a pretty comfortable lead, trying to add some insurance. Good rip there off the tape. Really good move by Overby to keep that ball alive. Wills into the block of Ritter is covered. Can Starkey have a swing at this? No, it's going to be a free ball. Where does Ritter go here in the front row? Lots of options. The connection not there between him and Borsay. Chicago's got to have this point. Overby out of the pipe. What a dig by Penrose. Borsay again is rejected this time by Starkey and Sawicki. Chicago absolutely had to have that point, and eventually they did. On the big double block. That was a heck of a dig by Penrose earlier in that rally off the big attack by Overby. But not quite good enough to score for Boston. 13-17. Good rip that time by Starkey from the service line. Penrose out of the back row. Pretty good block touch by Wills. But deflects long. No defender can run it down. Rotation 4 receive here for Chris Cox and the Icemen. But doesn't matter where they need to go offensively as Paulin misses that serve pretty badly short. All the pressure right now on Chicago to make this comeback and just to keep their spot as the top dogs in this league. Boston doing a great job applying that pressure. This is Borsay, rolled over the top of 3 blockers. Big transition chance here for Starkey. Nice swing, gets off the shoulder, left shoulder of Brad Borsay and out of play down the line. I really like Dan Starkey's range, not at all afraid to wait for the ball to cross all the way across his body to his right shoulder so he can hit that ball down the line with a little bit of wrist away spin. Penrose good at that as well. Good rip that time by Wills, well off the net. Borsay against 2 big blockers. Good touch by Cox, kept alive by Sawicki. Not a good bump set by Cox that time. Starkey running it down close to our official stand. Can't send it over on the 3rd contact. So a missed opportunity for Chicago after a pretty good block touch. And the lead back up to 4 for Boston, closing in on a 2-1 lead in this match. 19-15 here in set number 3. Sawicki, what a piece of offense that is. Coming from his right sideline, using his shoulder completely against his body's momentum. Sharp angle wrist away right on the tee of the sideline and the 3-meter line. An impressive swing. (16-19). Sawicki serving. Can Jalen run this down? No, not quite. That's an ace serve by Scott Sawicki. Beautiful serve that time. Way outside of Vautrin's body to his left. Just what Chicago needed. They're within 2, 17-19. Sawicki again. Another heavy serve. Penrose has to set this ball. Borsay on the right side. Excellent diving play there by Starkey. Overby to get within 1. Doesn't get the touch. Doesn't matter. Vautrin plays it defensively. Rattles through the ceiling. Penrose on the left side. What a put away that is cross court. A huge bailout swing by Jalen Penrose. Way out of system. Keeps his feet behind the ball in front of him. Makes great hand contact and puts it away cross court. That was a big play. 2017 Boston. Really good pass that time by Wills. Cox to Starkey on the right side. Into the block of Vautrin, scooped up by Kaufman. Penrose into the block of Poindexter, and he's rejected. No coverage back there. Deep enough for Boston to keep that ball off the floor. Big block by number 18 in blue and white. The Cambridge, Massachusetts native, of course, who had some serious strings of stuff blocks in a row in both matches yesterday. Good serve by Cox, a little low, working on Apria. It's Kaufman on the back one, tipped and handled by Overby. Overby against 2 blockers, right on the net, handled, rattles around the Chicago side, Starkey down the line. What a dig by Apria. Chicago's got to have this point. Wills out of the back row, and they do. What a swing right into the chest of Colin Ritter and down. And Chicago within one. We've got a battle here, ladies and gentlemen. 19-20. With Cox applying just the right amount of pressure from the service line against Boston's rotation 2. No timeout here from Coach Bill Villa. A little bit of a momentum shift. Chicago looking to do this comeback for a second time already in this match. Another good serve. Left-handed tip that time by Kaufman. Overby for the tie, and he is roofed. Big block by Kaufman and Penrose. A huge block for the Boston Bounce to bring their lead back up to 2. Just a massive set of forehands between Penrose and Kaufman. Kaufman back to serve, 21-19. Had a pretty nice run here in this rotation earlier in the set. Good pass by Overby. Gets this ball on the right side, through the block somehow between Vautrin and Paulin and down on the Boston side. Again, you got to win by 2. Boston effectively up 1.5 points as siding out in this receiving serve with a 1-point lead is effectively a half a point advantage. They can side out 4 times and win this set. Chicago needs at least 1 point on serve to force extras. Not going to come there off the service error of Overby. So now 22-20 Boston, which was the exact same score we saw in set number 1 before Chicago went on a 5-1 run to steal that one 25-23. Can they do it again? Great pass by Merck off a tough serve. Wills on the left side. Does he get the block touch? I thought so. Yeah, touch called by the line judge on the far side. That's an excellent call. Wills off the fingertips of Paul, and Chicago does take that point. Paulin trying to lie his way out of that one, but does eventually admit to the touch after the line judge detected it. So 21-22 now, Chicago within 1. Poindexter serving. Look how far up the Boston passers are. All trying to hand pass this ball. Borsay does. Great block touch by Starkey. Wills rescues it. Starkey has to send over a free ball. Oh, what a smart tip by Clay Paulin. Brilliant choice, tipping that one short to zone 4. No libero on the floor there defensively for Chicago, and nobody is going to be there to make that read with the outside blocker, Tyler Wills, helping in the block. Not able to be there defensively. Really smart shot. 23-21 Boston. Perfect pass by Overby. Starkey on the right side. Pretty good block touch by Borsay. Stabbed at by Penrose. He'll get a swing at this. Down the line, he puts it away. What a play by Jalen Penrose. The one-handed defensive stab, just throwing that ball up in the air, and then being available offensively. Having the range to hit that ball down the line, a huge insurance point. Set point here, 24-21 Boston. 3 opportunities to go up 2-1. Really good pass by Merck. Sawicki on kind of the front slide, jumping off of 1 foot. Penrose going to have a swing for the set here. Dug by Cox. The ceiling actually helps him, but Overby can't make the adjustment, and that is it. 25-21, a quick sprint to the finish there. Boston pulls away of a pretty competitive, tight set. They lead 2-1, looking to take their first match of their VLA careers. Really impressive level of volleyball played by the Boston Bounce so far here on Sunday. We'll be back in just a few minutes to see if they can complete the win. Stay tuned. Set number 4 coming your way live from Buffalo. I'm Rob St. Clair. Thanks for joining us here on the VLA YouTube channel. Looks like we have a setter change here for Chicago. Captain Tim Faulkner. Number 2 in blue and white on the near side of your screen. Into the match to set the offense. Replacing Chris Cox. See if that can be the difference for Chicago in taking advantage of a couple more of these good side out and transition opportunities. Faulkner to Starkey right away, and that is not the way he wanted to start. Not a good set from Faulkner that time. Starkey broad jumping a little bit too far, couldn't send that one over the net, so Boston on the board first. Again, Colin Ritter continuing to be a really effective server. Right on cue, ace serve, Colin Ritter. The setter out of Wentworth Institute of Technology, having a great match serving the ball. Couple key aces, just with that little change-up and an aspect of variety. The unpredictability really getting the better of some of the Chicago passes in these rotations. And the location there, right in the seam. Wills, sharp cross court. What a swing. No, that ball well out of bounds into the side wall. One-handed stab by Apria. Pretty good effort. Wills back to serve after that kill. Let's see if Chicago can inject a little bit of energy into their side. Good serve there, but an even better pass by Apria. Good block touch by Overby, but Kaufman gets his own rebound. That block touch right back up on the plane of the net and slapped down by the big middle blocker out of MIT. Skylar Kaufman pretty much putting himself in the assist category, given his own ball to swing at. 3-1 Boston, Brad Borsay. Perfect pass by Merck. Sawicki absolutely crushed wrist away on the back one. Sawicki doing some really creative things offensively, moving around a lot, showing the range. We even saw the little front slide off of 1 foot in the last set, and capable of doing some damage here from the service line. Oh, what a rip right on cue. Ritter able to run it down. Vautrin against 2 big blockers. Swings way out of bounds, exclusively trying to get the fingertips of the block, and he does not. Good disciplined block move that time by Tim Faulkner, not reaching too far to the outside. We're tied up at 3. Another good rip by Sawicki, but just out of bounds. Well watched by Borsay. I think it might be time for some miraculous Colin Merck dig. I think that might be just what Chicago needs. Get one in transition. They've got a side out first here, of course, and they're doing a phenomenal job passing the ball. Faulkner to Starkey out of the back row, and another hitting error. That connection has not been there this weekend. Very slow in the first match yesterday between Starkey and Faulkner. Just that D-ball back row connection not there. Actually looked decent between Starkey and Cox for most of this match. That is an aspect of the Chicago offense that they need to have firing. 5-3 Boston. Tight pass and hammered to the floor on the overpass by Clay Paulin, straight over the top of the block of Faulkner. Good work there serving by Skylar Kaufman, targeting Overby. 6-3. Platform set all the way out to Overby. Really well located, and what a high, hard swing. Absolutely outstanding high-level swing by Kyle Overby that time. Absolutely just going up and getting it, using every inch of his reach and athleticism. Contacting it high, deep cross-court corner shot. Really nicely done. Faulkner with the float serve, working on Vautrin's hands. This is Penrose on the right side, into the block of Overby, and he is rejected. Nice reach by Poindexter, having a presence there as well, but Overby got most of that one. And a great example there of the game of volleyball at this high of a level being played so much higher than the net height of 8 feet. That ball contact, block contact so high above the net. Another stuff block! This time Starkey one-on-one against Vautrin, denting the floorboards, and we're tied up at 6. And that is the Chicago Icemen that we are used to seeing. They can string together runs of stuff blocks, service aces, digs, whatever, to just demoralize teams with those types of plays. Let's see if they can keep it up. Good serving by Faulkner. Penrose again. Oh, and Overby wanted that one. But a tough deflection in between his hands gives the kill to Penrose. (7-6) Boston. Penrose looking to bring the heat. He does. Pretty good pass by Overby here in rotation 1. Starkey on the left side is rejected by Paulin. Nice move that time by number 69 in white and purple. And just like we've talked about Chicago throughout the course of the weekend, same thing for Boston. Really any team at this high of a level, if they can put just a little bit of service pressure on, their blocking jobs get that much easier. Overby out of the offense, but what a put away by Poindexter cross-body. Great pass by Kyle Overby that time. Let's see if Poindexter can get further involved into the offense. Faulkner has a great connection with Poindexter. Overby back to serve here. Rotation 4 received for Boston. Ritter in the front row, along with Paulin and Vautrin. Good serve, working on Vautrin down the line. Barely kept alive on the second touch, but there won't be a third. Effectively an ace serve that time for Kyle Overby of Chicago, and we're tied up at 8. Beautifully located, and you don't see every day a right-handed jump server serving from his left sideline. Creates some different angles, and I like Overby working this ball to Vautrin's left. Right down the pipe that time, forces the overpass. Merck handles it. Where does Faulkner go? Starkey on the right side is rejected by Vautrin. That ball may have been going out of bounds, but deflected off of Starkey on its way. And a huge missed opportunity there for Chicago off the free ball. Boston retakes the lead at 9-8, and Vautrin after that block goes back to the service line. Perfect pass by Overby. Wills accelerates and hammers it through a small seam. Deflected off the block of Paulin and out of play. Really impressed by Tyler Wills' ability to accelerate to balls all over his hitting range. Hit the ball high and hard. Not a very fast or explosive approach, but a big arm and a great vision for number 7 in blue. And there's an effortless looking put away that time by Paulin in the middle. Boston completely in system on that play, and once again they're up by 1. Good pass by Overby. Wills again on the left side into the block of Kaufman, and he's rejected. A late move by Skylar Kaufman. I don't think Wills even saw him there, but getting his hands over the net in a good enough spot to register that stuff block right on the sideline on the Chicago side. Big point on serve there for the bounce. Wills again, repeat set from Faulkner, that time put away, deep cross-court corner. Really nice swing by Tyler Wills and a great set choice by Faulkner. Every hitter loves a repeat setter. That, of course, being a setter that will go back to one of his hitters right after he's been blocked or made an error to keep his confidence high. Speaking of confidence, Starkey could really use some jump service pressure here. And he gets it. What a serve that was, but an even better pass by Apria and tipped to the floor by Borsay right between the arms of Tim Faulkner. That was a great pass by the Boston libero, number 7 in purple. Setter Colin Ritter who I've just informally decided is Boston's best server on the day. Of course, right on cue, misses that one short in the net, but Boston has scored a lot of points in his service rotations, regardless of what Chicago's been doing on the other side. 12-11 Boston. Free ball opportunity here for Chicago. Faulkner to Sawicki through the block off the chest of Borsay and down on the Boston side. We're tied up at 12. Wills here serving again. Pretty nice run here from Chicago to tie this thing up at 12. Good pass by Apria. Oh, Penrose with the roll shot. I think both players jumped a little early that time. Penrose and Faulkner, of course. Penrose at 6'8", almost on his way down that time, able to roll that one to the floor. Borsay here serving. Quietly having a really impressive weekend. Perfect pass by Merck. No, sorry, overpass right on the net, and a net violation committed by Tim Faulkner. I just assume that any ball right in Merck's lap is going to be a perfect pass, but a little too much sauce on that one. Faulkner couldn't quite make the pineapple without committing the violation. 14-12 Boston. That's a perfect pass. Wills out of the back row. What a read by Kaufman. Wow, another late move, reactionary move by Skylar Kaufman, jumping back in to take Wills' wrist away. I thought there was going to be no block up for Boston against that big attack. But a great block move by number 16 in purple, and Boston leads by 3. Serve clips the tape, handled decently by Merck. Faulkner wins the joust, but another net violation committed by Chicago, and I think that's the right call. And 16-12. No timeout here from Chicago against this Borsay run. Got to get out of this rotation here in rotation 5. Perfect pass by Wills. Sawicki crossbody into the block, but just out of bounds on the Chicago side. And even though Kaufman didn't stuff block that ball, he is really having an impact on this match in the blocking area. Big opportunity here for Sawicki at the service line. Oh, great rip. Borsay into the ceiling. Deflects around. The kick save by Apria on the third contact. Not going to be sent over the net. That's effectively an ace for Scott Sawicki right on cue, dialing up the heat. Chicago within 2, 14-16. Could use a lot more of that. Rotation 2 receive here for Boston. Penrose, Kaufman, and Vautrin in the front row. Another blast by Sawicki, just a little bit out of bounds. Not quite perfect hand contact that time. But good work from Sawicki, starting to chip away. Chicago needs a similar run to what Boston just went on. And this is another pretty good, typically pretty good service rotation for the Boston bounce. Rotation 6 received for Chicago. Perfect pass by Overby. Poindexter, and excellent spacing created that time by Faulkner. You can see him look through the net either directly or with his peripherals to see that Paulin was already making a move towards the outside. Absolutely nobody there to stop Poindexter that time. 15-17. Great serve by Faulkner. That's an ace. Another, wow. Again, like I've talked about all weekend, service pressure doesn't necessarily just mean speed or hitting the ball as hard as you can. Locating the ball with the float serve, doing whatever you need to do to take another team out of system or perhaps score an ace. is just as good. Faulkner again with the floater. Better pass this time. Vautrin on the left through the block of Starkey and down. Nice, quick in-system offense that time, facilitated by Colin Ritter. Boston back up by 2. Penrose with a huge opportunity here to put on some pressure. Went after that one, but missed it short into the net. And now Overby with a similar opportunity here for Chicago. Trying to level this thing up. Perhaps even pull ahead in this rotation against Bounce's rotation 4. Chicago definitely with an advantage in transition offense in this rotation if it gets there. Paulin out of the middle, dug by Faulkner. Here it is, right on cue. Wills against 2 blockers. Over the top of the shorter blocker, Ritter, but well run down by Borsay. Sharp cross court by Penrose out of the back row. No touch and missed out of bounds. You can see Tyler Wills in kind of an out-of-system offensive look there. Try to take advantage of the shorter blocker, Colin Ritter. Ritter with a good touch to slow that thing down, though. But we're tied up at 18. Ripped from the service line that time by Overby, just out of bounds. But again, good work grabbing a point on serve. This is absolutely anybody's game. Does Chicago have enough energy in the reserves to force 5 games? Good pass by Overby off a tough serve from Vautrin. Wills against 2 blockers, rolled into the block. And harmlessly out of bounds on the Chicago side. And a service sub going to come in here, Chris Cox, who started the match at setter. Going to come in for Brandon Poindexter to serve and play some defense. I like that substitution. Looking to break this 19-19 tie. Good rip by Cox, working on Vautrin. Perfect pass, though. Borsay well outside the block. Starkey gets his own block touch. Quick offense that time by Borsay. Great set that time from Ritter, off the fingertips of Starkey and out of play. Pretty wacky play there. Now the service sub undone for Chicago. And one inserted here for Boston. Alex Raskin, the lefty, once again. Coming off the bench, I believe replacing Paul in the middle blocker. Just out of bounds there on the jump serve by Raskin. Service sub will be undone. Tied up at 20. Again, you must win by 2. Absolutely anybody's game. What Starkey got here from the service line. Coming down to the wire. Great serve by Starkey, but absorbed well by Apria. Penrose out of the back row down the line. And Merck's one-handed stab, not able to be controlled. Great swing that time by number 1 in purple. I could watch that absolutely all day. Big moment here. Colin Ritter. Great service rotation for Boston. Chicago needs to get out of this the first time possible. Overby out of the pipe, a little late to that one. I don't think he was really expecting to get set. Couldn't quite catch up to it with his feet. And definitely an unforced error there. A huge point for Boston, 22-20. We've seen this score in 3 sets so far. Set 1, which Chicago came back and won. Set 2, and Boston converted this lead. And now here in set 4, set 3, excuse me, the other time when that score happened, not set 2. Chicago absolutely needs this point. Faulkner dumped out of bounds. Did he get the touch? None called. Dumped out of bounds. A little bit of a tight pass, but I think that ball was probably settable. But another point in the service rotation for Boston of Colin Ritter. And a smart timeout here from Chicago. I definitely agree with this. Absolutely cannot afford to let this run go on any longer. Boston on the verge. 2 points away from winning this match 3-1. Can Chicago bring it back out of the timeout? Who are they going to go to out of this timeout in rotation 4 offensively? huge moment in this match, in this entire weekend of volleyball. Can Chicago get out of this rotation? That's what comes first. Good pass by Overby. Sawicki crossbody, stabbed at by Penrose. Vautrin out of the back row, dug by a diving Merck. Wills high into the hands, and a net violation committed that time by Boston. That's a great call. Really good defensive play that time by Colin Merck for Chicago. And Chicago does get out of that rotation. But now more work to do. 21-23. Boston receiving in rotation 1. Penrose hitting on the left side. Beautiful pass. Penrose through the block of Sawicki and Faulkner and down. And match points coming up. 24-21 Boston. Brad Borsay will have the honors serving. Rotation 5 receive here for Chicago. Got to get out of this one and then win 2 points on serve to force extras. Boston with 1 foot in the win column. But not yet. Service error by Borsay. 24, excuse me. Is all up to Scott Sawicki now. Just barely out of bounds by Sawicki, and that is it. The Boston Bounce win the match. They beat the defending champion Chicago Icemen and earn the first win of their VLA careers. What a turnaround from yesterday. Bounce adjusting to the learning curve of this high level of volleyball so quickly. And really impressively coming back here Sunday morning and winning the match, beating the Chicago Icemen 3-1. 25-22 the score there in set 4. Bounce is on the board. Really nice performance from the Frogs, the Purple Frogs of the Boston Bounce. Fun to watch them compete all weekend long. They will be back in action in the last match of the weekend at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today against Team LVC. But next up is another edition of the classic Chicago-New York LVC Icemen rivalry at noon Eastern Time in just over an hour. Chicago playing the second leg of a back-to-back in a championship rematch from last year and a rematch of an incredible 5-setter from yesterday. So you will not want to miss that one. Come back in just over an hour for that match. Meanwhile, we're going to hear from some of the Boston Bounce guys on their first VLA win. Let's go, dude. Well done.
Thank you.
Jalen Penrose, ladies and gentlemen. W. In the win column. How good does that feel?
It's nice. I mean, they're a hell of a team. I mean, we don't practice as much as we'd like, which would be, ideal. But, yeah, we just play volleyball. We give it our best. And as you can see, we pulled it out this time. I got my lunky blanket since I was like 5, so I think that kind of, gave us a little bit of oomph.
Love the mojo. What up, Clay? Yeah, the difference between yesterday and today for you guys was so impressive because obviously, you've played all kinds of volleyball. Your team has played all kinds of volleyball, got some serious talent and experience.
Yeah. But
coming and playing together at this level, it seemed like there was a little bit of a learning curve there. What do you think the difference was for you guys today versus yesterday? It was noticeable for me.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's the small differences. That team's really good. Like I said, they've been playing maybe 3-4 years together. This is our first time really being together. I think this is the first time we've actually had all the guys together, and I don't even know when the last time was. So, yeah, we talked about it a bit, just staying together, doing more of the small things that, these guys would do, and it paid off. So hopefully we could do it later again and get the second win.
Totally, yeah. Blocking, defense, service pressure. I think you guys honestly are kind of built similarly to Chicago. And when you played them yesterday, that like those were the differences that they did so well.
Yeah.
And today, you guys did those things, I think, better than them. I think that was honestly the difference. Jordan, great game defensively. You guys took up so much space blocking. Skylar made a bunch of great moves. And then when in doubt, throw the ball to this guy. Huh?
Thank you. No, but the biggest thing is, like, there's a lot of good players here. You know, it can go any which way. And whoever shows up and does those small things a bit more than the other guys. And like I said, we're fortunate enough to do that, and we got the win. So,
congrats, dude. First win of the VLA and the first of many.
Thank you.
Excited about it. Congrats to the Boston Bounce, the first win of their VLA existences. Really cool to be here for that. The first of many, of course, like I was just telling Jalen. 3-1 win for Boston over Chicago, and like I was just saying, Chicago LVC up next. Noon Eastern, just over an hour from right now, right here on this YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and we will see you next time for match number 5.